Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, January 9th, 2013. That fire in Boston the other day aboard the 787 Dreamliner was much worse than had originally been reported. The National Transportation Safety Board said that the incident caused severe fire damage. This was a fire that started in a high-energy lithium-ion battery. It ended up leaving the floor of the jet's electronics bay blackened with plastic dripping underneath. This was after firefighters ripped out and tossed the battery onto the runway. It also heightened scrutiny of the 787's electrical systems, particularly after earlier problems with the 787's power distribution panels from 4 previous flights that had not been reported. Apparently, according to an analyst named Scott Hamilton, who's an aviation expert, the FAA is soon going to issue an airworthiness directive regarding the electrical system and precautionary measures concerning the Dreamliner. Monday's fire at Logan follows an in-flight fire during a 2010 Dreamliner test flight. According to Boeing, all 4 incidents were traced to faulty circuit boards coming from a single manufacturing batch. A person with knowledge of the issue, who did not wish to be quoted, said the flawed circuit boards were manufactured in Mexico for United Technologies, which supplies the power distribution panels to Boeing. The person said that the only impact of arcing in the circuit boards was to cut off some of the plane's power supply from the generator. But fortunately, that issue has not yet happened in a big way in flight. The total horsepower generated by the 787's engines on cruise is actually less than a conventionally powered aircraft because of their efficiency. The Dreamliner electrical systems generate about 1.45 megawatts of electricity, enough to power about 600 homes. The plane carries 2 large lithium-ion batteries located in its forward and rear bays. There were 2 other incidents regarding the 787s yesterday. Japan Airlines canceled a domestic 787 flight because of a brake problem. And once again at Boston, Japan Airlines had to cancel a Boston to Tokyo flight after a fuel spill of only about 40 gallons. Meanwhile, the CEO of Qatar Airways, Akbar Al-Baker, is defending the 787, saying that the recent incidents are only teething problems and saying that he had no plans to cancel orders. Qatar is the largest customer of the Dreamliner in the Middle East, with an order for up to 60 of the planes. It currently has a fleet of 5 787s. Well, AIG is making the news again today. They're conducting a nationwide thank you ad campaign, thanking the United States taxpayer for bailing them out. Yesterday, their former CEO and one of their largest shareholders, Maurice Greenberg, filed a suit against the federal government, saying that he had been deprived of his Fifth Amendment rights because his property, i.e. the share values, had been unfairly taken from him. The AIG board is charged with looking out for the rights of shareholders, and because of Greenberg's suit, they are now in the awkward position of having to determine whether or not they too should join the suit, because they in fact have to represent the shareholders. This has caused a hue and cry on Capitol Hill. The board is in a little bit of a legal pickle, because if they don't decide to join the suit and Greenberg does end up with some sort of settlement from the government, the other shareholders will likely have a course of action against AIG. There's a new reinsurer in Hong Kong to one of China's largest private investors, Fosun, F-O-S-U-N, and a World Bank Group member, the International Finance Corporation, have launched a $550 million reinsurer based in Hong Kong called Peak Re. It's going to be providing services to about 100 insurance clients in 7 emerging Asian markets, including China and Indonesia. The situation in Australia has eased somewhat. 30 fires are still out of control, but none of them are declared catastrophic. Shifting winds lowered the temperatures dramatically. In Sydney yesterday, it was 108 degrees. It's going to peak today at only 77. That's a big drop. And speaking of heat, it's now official. 2012 was the warmest year on record in the lower 48 states of the U.S. The average temperature was 55.3 degrees. It eclipsed the old record by a full 1 degree. This is a big number because record breaks are usually about 1/10 of 1 degree. CATCO, the Lloyd's retrocession provider that's based in Bermuda, is writing off its remaining exposure to the Costa Concordia ship that sank off of Italy. The industry loss warranty that triggered at $1.25 billion means that they're going to have to pay out. CATCO is likely to see its 2012 gross returns now dip by almost 4%. They were targeting a net return of 23% for 2012. There was a big explosion in the port of Lagos this morning at an oil depot owned by MRS Oil. Firefighters are fighting it now. A number of buildings have been destroyed. No word yet on any other damage. And Union Bank of Switzerland has fired 18 people outright over the LIBOR interest rate setting scandal. 18 staff were sacked. This is after the bank paid a $1.5 billion settlement fine, the second largest fine ever paid by a bank. UBS did the right thing. The press release said that these people brought shame onto their coworkers and onto the bank. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.